Good morning, everyone. We'd like to open the Middlebury Redevelopment Commission meeting for March 26, 2026. Roll call. I believe everyone is present. Minutes of the February 26, 2026 meeting and the notification of the March 9th, 2026 executive session certification were presented in the packet.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes for the February 26, 2026 meeting and the March 9th, 2026 executive session certification.
Second.
Motion and second have been made. Any further discussions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion is passed to accept the minutes. At this time, we would like to open the floor for public comments. At this time, we'll close the floor for public comments. Next agenda item, old business, update on the purchase of 109 Grand Street property.
Yeah, so I had sent you an email along right after the packet was sent out, just sort of as we discussed with the BFB partner group about due to the environmental contamination, the project scope wasn't quite lining up for everybody anymore, and so I prepared just a mutual termination and release of that for your approval today. So I've sent a draft to them as well for review. I haven't heard anything back yet, but
So we'll wait for their review.
well, I would say I don't expect there to be any issues with it, but it's just I would approve it if it needs to come back. If they have a change that requires additional approval, I'll bring it back. But yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. I kept it very simple. It's basically just we agree to terminate the purchase agreement, and we release each other from any liability or costs related to the purchase agreement. Everyone's responsible for their own costs. No admission of any liability regarding it, and that's basically all it says.
Was there any earnest money or deposit or anything?
No, there wasn't any earnest money. Nope.
Well, I would make a motion that we approve the release agreement with BFB Partners Group for the purchase of the 109 Grand Street property, barring any adjustments or suggestions by the BFB group.
I'll second.
Motion has been made to accept and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion is passed. Next on the agenda, Heron Environmental proposed boring locations for 109 Grand Street.
So I just wanted to let everybody know that they've laid out where they plan to put those groundwater or places for groundwater sampling collection. And they were supposed to be out here this week. I'm not sure because they thought they didn't have to call in locates. So we said, no, you got to call in locates. So anyway, it might be early next week. Any questions on that? It's more for informational purposes in case you saw somebody out there.
Thank you, Mary. Next agenda item, amendment number 4, interlocal agreement with Elkhart County for intersection improvements.
So the first interlocal agreement was, I think, in the amount of $4 million to borrow from Major Moves. And we did that with a joint with Elkhart County Redevelopment Commission and this Redevelopment Commission to improve the intersections and County Road 20. So we've got to this point where we're getting ready to reconstruct the intersection of County Road 22 or Orpha Drive and County Road 37. And with us adding the sanitary sewer, and we were a little bit on a shortfall anyway with needing funds to finish it. So this interlocal agreement is to add $700,000 to the project. And so $350,000 would come out of the Elroy TIF if approved, and then $350 comes out of the Middlebury Southeast TIF, which is the Elkhart County TIF. And part of this was adding that sanitary sewer to extend through that intersection, and then also getting it north and south. So that way we can easily connect on in case there's anybody in the future that want to connect on.
And I guess a note on the way it looks, it can be a little confusing based on how the amendment shows, because you might see the $580,000 number. That's because we're just amending and restating that section to be to the new amount.
Okay.
Previous to this, it was 200 and something, whatever 580 minus 350 is.
Yeah.
So I just added that to the 50-50 split funding arrangement, which is how we also did the amendment number 2, and so it's consistent with how we've amended it in the past. And I guess, Mary, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe amendment number 3, we basically we had some money left over from the intersections, and so we expanded the scope, but in that amendment, we didn't change any of the funding for it, so this
Correct.
is just sort of catch up with that expanded scope. And
Right.
so that's what all that is, and that is, it's coming here first, and then it'll go to, I guess the next one would be the county redevelopment, then probably town council,
Yeah.
county council, county commissioners, and however those line up.
So, and just to like refresh your memory on why we're doing this project. So when the US 20 project gets done, they're going to close off or put a cul-de-sac at the County Road 37 right by Bill's Collision. So there won't be any access onto US 20. Well, that is a route that gets used by Jayco quite a bit with their transport. So the transport company is going to have to come down to US 20 and Orpha, and then come across on Orpha, and then head south on 37. So it crosses the trail twice. So we're trying to do an intersection improvement with regards to biking and pedestrians. Plus, by moving, and I don't know if this was in your packet, but by moving the trail to the west side of the intersection, it's also on a higher elevation, so you can see better both ways to get across County Road 22 or Orpha. And then once 37 is closed, you'll be able to get across there easier too, because there's less traffic. So that's part of why we're doing this project, is the safety aspect. Any questions?
So, I understand it's somewhat academic of the scope works. There's a prior amendment, but previously it was $230,000 of funding for both the county RDC and Middlebury. That'd be $460,000. It's a new number that increased $700,000, makes it above $1 million. Is that really what the entire project was? Initially was just the $400,000, and now it's 1.1 with the additional scope, or was there other scope stuff with the intersection improvements that not necessarily reflected in that funding part of it? I don't know if that question makes sense. It just seems like, the
Are you
amendment-
talking in the amendments?
Yeah, I guess if this is the only funding amendment in the history, the increase is, is more than double what the prior cost was.
That was from the costs from the TIFs. The major moves fund
Gotcha.
loan was the 3.1 million.
Right, yeah.
So that's not part of that.
Thank you. Yeah, I now remember that was said at the beginning, and I didn't register that, so.
So we're looking for a motion to approve the amendment number 4, is that correct? So I will make a motion to approve amendment number 4 to the interlocal agreement with Elkhart County for the intersection improvements at County Road 22 and 37, 37 and 20, 20 and 13, in the amount of $700,000. As presented.
I'll second.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion passes. Thank you, Mary and Jackson, for your clarification on the questions there. New business, Middlebury project updates.
So I just put in your packet, this map is going to be going out with the next quarterly newsletter to all Middlebury residents. We'll also post it on the town's website, but there's a lot of projects over the next 5 years that's going to be happening. And then I updated the, like my simple little math spreadsheets, so that way I can keep track of projects and funding and everything. I updated to make sure that we included the additional $350,000 down below. And I also updated the downtown one to include the additional services by Heron for 109 Green Street. And then at Elkhart County's Redevelopment Commission this next time, they're going to be talking about the water model because we had passed it here with half of it being half of those fees, which was a total of $80,800, half being paid by Elroy TIF, 25% being paid by downtown TIF, and then you guys had requested that we ask Elkhart County Redevelopment to see if their TIF would pay the remaining 25%. So that's on their agenda for this next meeting. And then at the last council meeting, council members requested that, like, as we close out projects, that we close them out and bring it back to say what the final, like whether we're over or under, because as I said, a lot of times you're hearing all the negative of we need additional funds. There are projects that do come in under budget. I just don't bring them back. So we're going to start doing that.
We appreciate that.
Yep. Any questions on anything? Okay.
Okay. Next redevelopment commission meeting set for Thursday, April 23rd, 2026 at 7 a.m. And with that, we are adjourned.